Hello, this is Angela Sauer at Healthy Body Bakery, and my passion is to do what we're going to do tonight. I met this little girl about, maybe it seems like a year ago. Her and her mom have been so gracious. This is third take at this video because she's got a real special story, and because I want to get it right this time. I will probably take myself out of the picture because I'm going to interview this beautiful woman, young girl, and this beautiful mom who's got a story to tell that is going to bless you and show you. We said something today that that type 1 diabetes, insulin dependent, does not have to be a sentence of doom. It's just an awareness that there's a better way. And this little girl is full of fight, and I am so proud to know her. I'm going to turn the camera around, and we're going to get this interview started. You, sweetheart, I can't wait for the world to meet you. Tell us your name.
Okay, my name is Peyton Grace Barnes, but I do go by Gracie. I don't really know how many times that I've had to go through all the diabetic stuff, but we will get through about what my story has been like, and to let you know that what you can do about this if you have this situation too.
Love it. How old are you, Gracie?
I am 12.
12. Mama, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Christiana Barnes. I'm Gracie's mom.
How did you find the bakery, and who told you about it, and how did you come here, and why did you come here?
Okay, so a good friend of mine at work told me about Healthy Body Bakery. I was on a keto journey at the time, and they told me about, I can come to the bakery and get goodies. So I stopped in, and that's when I met you, and I met Kathy. And I was just kind of telling you guys about my daughter, because I noticed all the good treats, the brownies, and all the stuff you had here, and just kind of mentioned that to you, Angela. And you asked if I could take home and try an experiment with my daughter.
I knew there's a reason I asked you.
Told
Thank you.
That she was type 1 diabetic, and you're like, oh, if you don't mind, could you try this and see if this works? So I said, sure, we'll do it. She would love brownie either way. So I brought it home, and we tested her sugar prior to her eating the brownie, and she ate the brownie. And then afterwards we tested again. She did not spike at all.
Wow.
It didn't, even after an hour, which is like the time frame that you normally wait to see if it'll spike, it didn't spike at all. So.
And what were you thinking? Okay, so Mom walks in the door. You don't know she came in here. She walks in the door with this brownie, and what did you know about it?
Well, I was like, Mom, I can't eat this, like it's sugar. And she's like, oh no, darling, this is something you can eat. And I'm like, no way. But when I did eat it, I tested my sugar before I ate it. After I ate it, I looked at my sugar. I'm like, oh my gosh, who is this lady? Who is this lady? We need to go we need to go every day.
I think her exact words were, who is this miracle worker?
Well, what you might not know is we have a little bit more in common than you realize. You have to eat low glycemic foods because of your diabetes. Yeah. I have to eat low glycemic foods because of a food addiction. I was probably one of the most serious food addicts. I don't know how they're rated. And a food addict, when their sugar level gets spiked, that's when they're out of control. So I don't have a choice either. Like an alcoholic doesn't take a drink. That's so we have something in common with that. So that's why I did it. So it makes me so happy that someone like yourself can so take us on the journey. Tell me, how old are you again?
I am 12.
12. How did you find out about this? Take us back as far as you want. From the first symptom, you're like, what's up? I don't feel good.
Yeah. So it all started when I was about 9 years old, and this was in the month of October. So Halloween, we were going out to other houses and I was going to get candy. Every time I went up to a door, like, I was like, I have to go to the bathroom. My gosh. And I told Mom this, and she's like, this is weird. This keeps on going on. And I was like, okay, Mom, I'm tired. I want to go home. I don't want any more candy. And that's not what you hear from a child, okay? Not on Halloween. Not at all. So we stopped at a gas station, and I went to the restroom, came back out. She took me to the doctor right after, and they came out with some results that were just shocked my mom. She's like, this is not happening. And I was like, kind of is, but it just shocked me too. I didn't want to go through the situation that I was going to have to, but when we did, just changed everything. We went to the ER. The doctors said that we had to go immediately to the ER.
That's scary.
Oh yes. And I had to get an IV. I had to stay there for about, how long was it?
2 days.
2 days. Okay. 2 days, and I was scared. I was scared out of my skin. But the doctor said that I would be okay as long as I managed my sugar correctly, and that's how Mom helped me. Yeah, she helped me a lot.
Yeah. Well, prior to Halloween, I had been noticing that she had been going to the restroom more frequently, even throughout the night, which was not a common thing for her. I also noticed she was drinking a lot more, thirsty, a lot more often. So then when Halloween rolled around and we went and did the trick-or-treating, that was kind of like the nail, in the coffin there. I was like, something's not right. We need to get you to the doctor. Especially when a child is, I'm just too tired, I don't want to do this anymore. On Halloween, that doesn't happen.
Right.
So I did. I took her to the doctor the next day, and they tested her. And I kind of already had an idea that it could be something along those lines. We do have type 1 that runs in our family. My brother was diagnosed type 1, so I already knew what to look for.
Gotcha.
But we, when they took her and they tested her, normal blood sugar range is anywhere from 60 to 140-ish in that range. She was at 588. So they were like, yeah, do not pass go. Go straight to the emergency room right now. Noticing the signs and the symptoms was the big part.
So what does your typical eating regimen look like for you now?
Well, it's a lot different than I used to. When I was little, I ate candy and stuff. It's not really good, but right now it's supposed to be a lot more healthier, but sometimes I get on the kids' side and be like, she ain't looking. I can get something sweet now, like a brownie or something that ain't sugar-free. But yeah.
But your sugar never lies.
Yeah. But in a range, I love salads now. I'm more addicted to that. Salads are like my number one go-to food. Tomatoes, more vegetables, more meat, more healthy, more like an adult diet,
Right.
basically. But yeah, it's...
So what was a reality? Share it with me, a low when it hit you, or possible when was that time that you went through, or maybe you didn't go through it all, I don't know, of like, oh my goodness, how is this happening, or why is this happening? Needles, insulin, stuff like that.
Well, I can remember the first time that I got a shot. I was really scared because, I was little, more little than I am right now. Mom or a doctor, I think it was a doctor that gave me the first shot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then my mom got used to it, giving me a shot. She's like, okay, she's fine with me giving shots. But when I turned 10, I was like, maybe I should try this. Like, maybe I should try something new. And I got used to it, and that's what I'm doing right now. Sometimes I have a little bit of help, areas that I can't reach, like if it were the back of your leg or back of your arm. There's lots of places, like the more meaty places, that you give yourself shots. And
so I would think that too, like right after she was diagnosed, she would ask questions too, like, why can't I just be normal? And that, those are questions I think that once someone is diagnosed, those are questions that go, especially for a child, those are questions that, that they go through when they go to school. Our normal was a different normal all of a sudden.
Right.
And I think it affects the kiddos the most because
sure.
they're going to school and other kids are, they're eating candy. And I think there were a few times she snuck candy in it, here and there. But too, I mean, it affects the whole family, honestly, in ways that you wouldn't imagine. But I think for a while she went through the whole thing of, why can't I just be normal? Why do I have to do this? And she even asked the doctor when we were going home from the hospital, she's like, you mean I have to do this every day? I have to keep doing this? And they were like, oh, yes, ma'am.
So tell for someone the difference between type 1 and type 2.
So type 1 is kind of a genetic, or it's more of a genetic type of thing. It's one that when you receive that diagnosis, doctors will tell you that it cannot be changed.
Right.
It cannot be reversed. Type 2 is more of a diet-based, health-based type of
People can bring it on themselves with poor nutrition or
Exactly.
poor eating habits, but type 1 is...
Type 1 is one that they tell you cannot be reversed.
Share with me the dangers, because I actually don't know this part. What would you have to look at for sugar-wise or level-wise? Because there's too low and there's too high.
Absolutely.
How's that work?
And we have experienced that. She was actually at church camp a couple of years ago, and but they had eaten dinner. She gave her adjustments or whatever for dinner. Well, in the middle of the night, while she was sleeping, she crashed. She went too low. So Gracie had a diabetic seizure. There's kind of like an EpiPen. There's a glucagon pen for diabetics.
Wow.
Or a quick shot to boost
Sure.
and bring it back up. It's like a sugar rush. But they gave her that, and they got her back. It was really scary for Grammy. And according to the nurse and according to their youth pastor, they thought she was a goner. So it's really there's a balance
Right.
that has to take place with sugars. And what had happened, and they didn't know it at the time, we found this after the fact, was that, with all the activity that she had done that day, there should have been an adjustment.
She was already lower
She
because
was
she burned.
already lower, even though she had pizza at dinner,
Wow.
which would have been enough without giving insulin. So that there's so many different things that go along with this diagnosis that you don't even realize. But that was a learning experience. She doesn't have any recollection of
I was going to ask that.
what happened. I mean, she didn't even believe the movie. She just knew that she felt sore, and I think she had kind of hit herself,
Right.
whatever, so she felt
And
kinda,
tensing like that.
Yeah.
I've heard that right. My heart is that people would realize that there's a better way. If we would take it back to biblical baking, or if you don't like that word, ancient grains, to where things haven't been hybrid or genetically modified, you would be surprised the flavor that ancient grains actually have. So I have preached for 15 years, no wheat, no corn, no soy, and because I know what it's done for me at 53, and to have the diabetic testimonies, to realize that they can eat a brownie, or have you tried any like cupcakes or anything with class? Because I always envision maybe someone at the class, everybody's eating cake, but she goes, hey, I've got my Healthy Body Bakery
Healthy
cupcake, and
Yeah.
it's better than theirs, and it's just a treat that they can enjoy and not feel left out.
exactly. We should do that.
This has been Gracie. She is so beautiful. And Christiana, her mom, that's been on the journey of type 1 diabetes. You guys have a blog.
We do.
What is it?
It is Gracie's T1 Adventure. Gracie's
T1 Adventure.
Hey guys, just wanted to let you know before we end this, if you guys have anything in common with me, if you have diabetic issues, if you're type 1, type 2, we could help you with both of those. You could just ask on our blog, you could ask on our YouTube channel.
If you feel like any of the symptoms that we talked about earlier, if you have a thought that maybe one of your children or even yourself may be facing this diagnosis, it doesn't just affect children, it also affects adults. So if you are noticing these symptoms, my recommendation would be to hurry up and get kiddo to primary care physician or even yourself or family member. Go ahead and get tested. Have your blood sugar levels tested, and just a recommendation from us for those who have or have been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. We love to meet people. We love to meet those who have been diagnosed. To have somebody to walk through this process with you, hand in hand, we're more than welcome to do so. We're more than welcome to share what we know. We also love to learn, so any information that you may have, we would love to learn that as well. We do have a couple of websites, and we have gone to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, or JDRF is a website you can go to. You can also go to #SpotTheDot, which is another website for those who have juvenile diabetes and information. And Gracie has been through quite a bit of a learning experience. This is a learning curve for those who have been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. So you're more than welcome to reach out and contact us on our blog. It is open to the public. We do post and give inspirational and hopefully encouraging information on the blog for those who need that as well. So thanks so much.
Remember that time when we had a freezy spray fight?
You mean the freezy spray fight you had with the doctors at the hospital?
Yeah.